Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another review of movies with consonants that start with a consonant month. And this is it. This is a Bond film that I wanted to rant on for a while. I know it has its fans. I'm not one of them. I saw this last year on cable, and I thought this was very disappointing considering the last movie in the franchise, and that is the 2015 spy thriller Spectre. Now, before Sean and anybody else that said they like this movie, before you go to the comment section of this video and say that I'm wrong, that I should have seen this movie again, hear me out. Skyfall was a hard act to follow. That was one of the better Bond films with Daniel Craig, action packed, even though it is a little bit too long. It still managed to be a very enjoyable movie, despite its flaws. But this one is just a downgrade from Skyfall. It's more Quantum of Solace than Skyfall or Casino Royale, and I will tell you why. Let me get the positives out of the way first. One, I like Monica Bellucci in the film when she's there. She's beautiful. Sam Mendes' direction works. The film looks great. It doesn't look cheap. It has a budget. The song "Writing on the Wall" that won an Oscar for Best Original Song. That's a decent song. Some of the action when it's there, it's passable, but I don't think it's as spectacular as Skyfall, Casino Royale. And also, the movie has some entertaining scenes with Daniel Craig, in the lead. But the film has a ton of problems. I'm sorry to say this, but unlike Skyfall, which one of my main problems was that the movie was too long. It felt like The Dark Knight. That you could have cut at least 10 or 20 minutes out of the movie, it would have made the movie a lot more bearable. Now, do I completely despise this movie? No, but it's one of the weaker Bonds with Daniel Craig. Like, first of all, I don't feel he's very invested in the movie. Like, his face, he just is slumming through the film, barely any emotion. It's a paycheck movie for him. He's just doing it. He said, "Oh, making this movie was a disaster," and I'm like, "Yeah, he didn't want to be in this movie." And to be honest, I don't blame him because this script was just a retread of films that we've seen better in the Bond films. Christoph Waltz plays Ernest Blofeld. Yeah, a villain that was played beautifully by Donald Pleasance in the previous film and other actors. I'm sorry, he didn't look like Blofeld. His cuckoo line, that was stupid. I hated that. He has no screen presence. He's barely in the freaking movie. So how can you defend that? At least Javier Bardem was in the movie, in Skyfall. It's not like he disappears for an hour and then he comes back later. No, that's not a good villain. I'm sorry. Blofeld is one of Bond's greatest villains, and here he's kind of an afterthought. Leah Seydoux, I don't care how to say your name because I'm not French. The French girl that's from Mission Impossible 4, she has absolutely no chemistry with Daniel Craig, and for a good reason. He is way older than her. When he kisses her, I felt like he was kissing a 16-year-old girl. It felt really awkward. I didn't buy their chemistry at all. It felt really weird, like I know that Bond is supposed to be older than the chicks, but when he's like twice as old as the girl, I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see a 40 something year old man on top of a girl that's like in her early 20s or late 20s or early 30s, and it looks wrong. Like, it just looks wrong to me. They have like a 15-year age gap. It's noticeable. In other movies, sometimes it doesn't bother me. Like in Get Smart with uh whatchamacallit, Anne Hathaway and with freaking Steve Carell, that didn't bother me. They have like a 10-year age difference, but back then it fit because the movie was funny and it didn't take itself seriously. This movie is way too serious. I didn't laugh once in this movie. You have good actors like Monica Bellucci, good in the film, easy on the eyes. She's underused. She's in the film for a few minutes, so that's a waste. You have Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's wasted. His performance as Mr. Hinks was fine, but he's barely in the film. He has one good fight scene with Bond on the train, and then he disappears. Yeah, there's your villain henchman for the movie, and he's underused. Um, Once again, like Skyfall, but this movie's way too long. I'm sorry, it is way too freaking long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I felt every second of this movie. The pacing is awful. It feels like there's scenes that go on for way too long. I don't need Bond with a girl that's like twice as young as him. It's really creepy to me. I didn't need the whole thing of Spectre being, oh yeah, it's a secret organization that's Blofeld is running, and I was so confused. I don't know. The storyline was going in 14 different directions. Also, I don't care about Naomi Harris as Moneypenny. I prefer the actress from the original films that played Moneypenny in the freaking Roger Moore films and in the Connery films. She's fine in those, but here Naomi Harris is trying to be this tough chick, and I don't buy her. In Skyfall, she K-Fed tries to kill Bond, and he falls. That added some tension, but here there's none of that. She's barely in the movie. I forgot what she did. Judy Dench is in the movie, but barely in it as well. That's the thing. This movie was a wasted opportunity. It made a lot of money because people were like, I need my Bond fix. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Spectre. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation did it better than you. That was not 2 hours and 20 minutes. That was much faster pace, had better characters, had a better villain, had a better freaking lead girl, and she's not like 20 years younger than Tom Cruise. I mean, Tom Cruise is older than her, but he doesn't have any romantic scenes with her where they're kissing and doing each other. And I'm like, it bothered me. Bond is supposed to be a womanizer. I get that. He's supposed to drink and gamble and be with women. I get that. That's his shtick. I'm not gonna say that that's a problem. But being with a girl that he's much older than, it just bothered me. It made me feel uncomfortable. And in an action movie, I should never feel that way. And it just was padded out. I don't know why Sam Mendes felt like, oh, people liked Skyfall for the running time. I'm going to make the next movie just as long, and it felt long. At 2 hours, this movie would have been fine. Honestly, because I tried to sit through this again. I'm like, I remember this. This has been done way better. The reason I hate On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the same reason, and I can't review that because that's a vowel movie. But it's too long. There's movies that are over 2 hours. I don't feel it. Like Civil War, over 2 hours, didn't feel a bit. Or the first Guardians was almost 2 hours, didn't feel it. The second Guardians to over 2 hours, did not feel it because it's action packed. The action is serviceable, but it's not enough to keep me entertained. It's too long, too much talking. No humor. I didn't laugh once, like I said before. At least the other Bond movies have Q, who here is replaced by some nerdy guy with an afro. And I did not complain about the British accents because I know this is a British franchise, just like Harry Potter. And I'm not gonna bash it on that because Craig is fine in the role. It's just he's very uninterested. He looks really bored in this movie. He does not give a shit. He's just doing the movie for a paycheck, and I can tell. And Mendes is not coming back for the next one. I just hope that the next one is basically a redemption for this, because if this was the last movie with Sam Mendes and Daniel Craig as Bond, I would have hated it. I would have been like, you rebooted Bond with Daniel Craig in Casino Royale, which had a lot of momentum and it was an entertaining movie. Then Quantum of Solace kind of shifted a bit. It was kind of a mess, but it was still entertaining at points, besides the shaky cam and the shitty villain. But then Skyfall was a welcome surprise. It was too long, but it was a good movie. At least I can say that. With this one, it's too long and it's bloated and it's been done before. It's formulaic. It doesn't have any momentum. And I just didn't feel like I was watching a Bond film. I felt like I was watching a B-list freaking, generic 2000s sci-fi thriller. This movie makes Jason Bourne watchable, and I don't like Jason Bourne, but at least it wasn't 2 hours and 20 minutes. And the same thing happened in that movie. But Matt Damon looked like he was out of it. Like if my lead is like this for the whole movie, and he's disinterested and shows no emotion, you see why my face is so expressive? Because I don't like to be. I don't want to be expressionless. I hate a lead that does that. The reason that worked in Blade Runner 2049 for Ryan Gosling is because his performance is subtle and it fits the tone of that movie. A Bond movie should not be long and boring. I'm sorry. It's dull and boring and it does not hold up. If I saw this a second time, I'd be like, it's the same thing. I'm going to see freaking Christoph Waltz phoning it in. I'm going to see freaking Daniel Craig phoning it in. I'm going to see a bunch of actors I don't care about, except for Monica Bellucci because she's trying, but she's not in the film enough. And it's too long, and it feels like I've seen this before, and I have. I've seen Blofeld in the other movies, and it's been done better. And I don't want to hear, oh, Sean's like, oh, but this is a different take on Blofeld. I'm like, no. To me, Blofeld is bald, has a scar on his face, and has a cat, like Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers movies, who's a parody of him. Here, it's just Christoph Waltz going with a shitty accent going cuckoo. And I'm like, oh my God. Christoph Waltz, take that. Stop being weird in movies. You sucked in Green Hornet. You sucked in this movie. The only reason you're relevant is because you played the freaking Jew hunter in Inglourious Bastards. If you had not done that role, no one would know who you were in the U.S. And I hope I don't offend anybody with that comment. That's his name in the movie, is the Jew hunter. So please don't get offended. But yeah, I'm sorry. Is he a good actor? Yes, but when you give him a shitty villain role like this, it shows and it's painful. That's why in Green Hornet nobody found him. James Franco said, "You're not scary." I'm like, yeah, he's not scary here. Cuckoo is not scary. It's not intimidating. It's stupid. At least Zod in Man of Steel, I give him credit. He didn't say a stupid line like that. I will find them. At least made me laugh. This did not make me laugh. This got a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. It deserved a 50%. It's boring. It's been done already. It gets a 6.8 on IMDb. I think check Mission Impossible 5. That gets a higher rating because it's better. And Rebecca Ferguson, I take her any day over Leah Sedal. Leah Sedal, you did a lesbian movie that I didn't care. Blue is the warmest color. I will never see that movie because LGBTQ movies are not for me. They're not for me. I'm a straight man. I like my women. That's how I was meant to be. And when my women in this movie are underused and they're way too young for the lead actor, it bothers me. It's like if you put Daisy Ridley with Michael Caine in the movie and their love interest. You would be creeped out by that, wouldn't you? Yeah. Putting my feelings aside of how shitty of an actress she is, if you put a young girl with an older man in a movie and people are going to watch it, they're going to be uncomfortable. I guarantee it. And it bothered me in a Bond movie where he's supposed to be flirting with a girl and she's way younger than him. And she looks like a French Taylor Swift. Yeah. Sorry, Sherry, but that's not for me. I would rather watch Beauty and the Beast again over this, the 2017 movie, because at least Emma Watson is not 20 years younger than freaking what's his face that played Beast in that movie, Dan Stevens. At least they had something. This is just lifeless. It's boring. It's a pointless sequel. It kind of felt rushed because Skyfall was such a huge hit, and I'm like, I don't know why this movie made a lot of money worldwide. It didn't deserve it. I think Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I know that movie's better. I have it on Blu-ray. It holds up. It's not some boring retread of the first four films. But anyway, I can't take it anymore. Spectre is just a disappointment for me. It's not the worst Bond movie. It's not even my top 5 worst, but it's a disappointment. And I don't know what else I can say. Just if you haven't seen it, it's a skippable movie. I'd rather watch Quantum of Solace again because I haven't seen that in a long time. And at least Olga Kurylenko's in the movie. She's not in the film for 5 minutes. And at least in Casino Royale, I didn't like Eva Green, but the Italian chick was nice in the movie. Caterina Marino, whatever. She was nice. And in Skyfall, I like the Asian chick, but she dies. So, and who was the other girl? Naomi Harris? No, sorry. She's not Moneypenny. It's a different take. I don't care. My Moneypenny is a Canadian actress from way back in the day who passed away. May she rest in peace. She's Moneypenny, not you, Naomi Harris. Get out. Stop trying to pretend to be American. You're not American. In this movie, no. I'm saying in other films that she's done. And she sucked in the Pirate sequels. Yes, Sean, you heard me. In Pirates 2 and Pirates 3, she was even worse than Keira Knightley. Because she was just freaking, her accent got to my nerves. It got on my freaking nerves. As the voodoo lady that sounds like this. I'm like, fuck you, Naomi Harris. You are useless in this freaking movie. But anyway, Spectre sucks. Just don't see it. If you've seen Skyfall, you're curious, just don't waste your time. You could see a better Bond movie. See Kingsman. That's the younger Bond movie that works better than this. That made me laugh my ass off, and it's a British comedy by a British director and a mostly British cast. Yet it had a charm to it. This was boring, and that movie wasn't 2 hours and 20 minutes. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed my rant. Just Spectre wasn't for me. Sorry. Don't attack me in the comment section. I thought it was really disappointing. And Justice League comes out next week. It can't be any worse than this. It can't. Because I guarantee you they're not going to do 2 hours and 20 minutes of nothing happening and then, oh, there's an action scene at the end. No. Then I'll be pissed and I'll walk out of the theater. But Spectre, I would have walked out of the theater if I saw this in the theater because it's a letdown. So take that for what you will, guys, and tell me what you think about Spectre. I didn't care for it. So see you in the next one.